The Zellery science vessel Trinovox floated in orbit around Earth, quiet and calm. To the crew, it was just another mission, another blue planet, another standard scan. They had done this 1,000 times before across hundreds of systems. Marked as a low threat, pre-space flight world didn't even have an active beacon, just background noise and cloud cover. Inside the observation deck, lead scientist Aviran tapped his clawed fingers across the glowing interface. "Start atmospheric scan," he said. His voice was dry and bored. A young technician, Varn, activated the probe. It hummed softly, sending an invisible beam down through the layers of Earth's air. Reading stable. Nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide. Just like the old records, Vaughn muttered. Then the screen blinked. Just once, then again. Suddenly, the scan data froze. Everyone in the room leaned forward. Everon narrowed his 4 eyes. "Run it again," he ordered. Vaughn reactivated the scan. This. Time alarms screamed. Bright red glyphs appeared across the monitors. Threat Protocol 9. Anomaly detected. Classified. What in the stars? Everon jumped to his feet. That's impossible. Class 9 alerts are for dead worlds, not planets. With grass and rain, the screens began flashing faster. Symbols from ancient galactic standard flooded the feed. A message appeared in old war code. Encrypted response. Human designated zone. Access forbidden. Human, Varn stammered. But humans don't even have a starship registry anymore. Their planet's been silent for thousands of cycles. The ship's AI suddenly locked them out of the scan feed. Doors around the observation deck slammed shut. Automatic lockdown? Emergency protocol activated, the AI said coldly. Atmospheric breach of Protocol Delta. Evacuate immediately. No, Everon said, backing away. This must be a malfunction. Earth is harmless. The ship vibrated. Not from an outside force, but from within. A strange pulse traveled through the hull. The same frequency used during the last war, long before Everon was born. Before the Zellery joined the council, Varn's voice shook. "Sir, we just got pinged by something from the surface." "Earth?" Everon asked. "No," Varn replied. "Not from Earth. Inside Earth's atmosphere. Something's alive in the air." The AI flickered, and then spoke again. But this time, it wasn't in the language of the Alar. It was human. A deep, cold voice echoed through the deck. "You were warned. Do not scan again." Silence followed. No one breathed. Then, the ship's engines shut down. One by one, the lights dimmed. Life support systems froze. Navigation locked. Weapons powered off even, though they had never been armed. Everon slapped the emergency. "Transmitter," he screamed into the comms. "This is Everon of the Trinovox. We've encountered a hostile system buried in Earth's atmosphere. It's not natural. I repeat, this is static." His voice cut out. The last thing the recording transmitted was the look of raw fear on his face. The Trinovox stopped responding. Galactic Command picked up the distress signal, but it was already too late. All they got was the final data burst from the atmospheric scan, marked with codes no one had seen in over 10,000 years. Inside the galactic core, deep in a black vault buried under 100 layers of steel and silence, ancient systems blinked back to life. Old programs began to stir. One of them read the Earth scan. It responded with a single message. Protocol Earthfire reactivated. Humanity classified as dormant threat. All observation to cease immediately. But the message was too late. Other science ships had already received the alert from the Trinovox and had started running their own scans of Earth. The panic hadn't spread yet, but it was coming, because each scan came back the same red. Alert, same encryption, same voice. Do not scan again. And then silence. Across a dozen star systems, strange signals started leaking into space. They were hidden inside the background radiation of Earth, signals that had been waiting for centuries, waiting for someone to break the rule, back on the homeworld of the Gari species. One of their long-range science teams reviewed the Trinovox report. They laughed. Humans, the lead researcher said. Extinct. Gone. Their world is nothing but weather and dirt. But when they ran their own scan, their ship exploded mid-dash transmission? No, weapon was detected. Just an atmospheric sample. The last frame of their data feed showed their ship surrounded by light patterns of strange, glowing energy wrapping around them like vines. The file labeled the phenomenon atmospheric sentinel field. That term didn't exist in any modern database, only in war records sealed after the final collapse of the old human empire. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Representatives of 14 species sat in silence as the data from Earth played out on the massive central screen. The message appeared again. Larger now, clearer. You were warned. Stay away. Maybe. A council member whispered, maybe we made a mistake. But one voice, the voice of the elder Drax diplomats, spoke louder than all the others. We did not make a mistake, he said. We forgot who the humans were. He stood slowly. I was a child when the last war ended. I remember seeing their ships disappear into the black. We thought they died, or gave up. But humans don't give up. They go quiet. They vanish. They wait. He looked around the chamber, and now they're warning us again. No one argued, because deep down, they all felt it. This wasn't a bluff. This wasn't a joke. Humanity had left something behind, something in the air. Itself, and now that it was awake. The galaxy would never be the same again. The Galactic Command Center on Varelnan was never quiet. But tonight, it was different. The air was tight. Officers spoke in hushed voices. The emergency beacon from the Zalari ship Trinovox had spread across 6 sectors. The words were chilling. Hostile system inside Earth's atmosphere. And then dash silence. Supreme Monitor Helvik stared at the main screen, arms folded behind his back. Play the final transmission again, he said. A shaky video filled the room. Ivirant, the Zellary scientist, was pale and sweating. The screen behind him glowed red with warning symbols. This is not a natural reading, Ivirant said in a trembling voice. It's encrypted. It's a response, it's human code, old human military code. Level 2-9. We are the feed cut out. End file. Helvik ordered. The room was silent. Finally, someone whispered, humans don't have code like that anymore. They haven't had anything for thousands of cycles. Exactly, Helvik said. And yet that code is active. Buried in the air of Earth, he turned to the Council tech crew, decrypt the scan results. The decryption specialist, a green-skinned Uralon named Jenth, frowned. Sir? I tried. The system won't let us in. It's locked behind something. Older than our databases? Older? Jenth nodded. I had to go into the Vault archives. Everyone turned. The Vault archives hadn't been accessed in over 600 years. Jenth tapped a few keys. A thick metal door slid open in the back of the room. Lights flickered as the deep archive servers powered on. Files that hadn't moved in centuries began to hum. It's not just encrypted, Jenth said. It's protected by something called Earthfire Protocol. It was part of the final human war code. Helvik narrowed his eyes. What does it say? Jenth swallowed. It says scanning Earth's atmosphere without permission will trigger full defensive awakening. Everyone in the room froze. Hal Vex stepped forward, defensive. Like what? An AI weapons? Jenth shook his head. Worse, the warning refers to living defense systems. Biological tech. Designed to activate only if humans are in danger? Murmur rippled through the officers. Are you saying their air is alive? Someone asked. No, Jenth answered. I'm saying their air was engineered not recently, thousands of years ago. Suddenly, the lights dimmed. An automated voice filled the room. It was not part of Galactic Command System. Earthfire Protocol activated. Level 0 contact zone confirmed. Do not approach. Helvik spun around. Who sent that? Jenth looked pale. It's not coming from our servers. It's broadcasting from a deep relay near Earth's moon.
How is that possible? Someone asked. It's a human satellite, Jenth said. Stealth class, still active. It's more silence. Then a red icon blinked onto the map, a human signal.
Old, almost forgotten. A logo with sharp wings wrapped around a circle. Terran Defense Corps. No one's used that name in 10,000 years. Halvik whispered. The signal pulsed again. Another message appeared. Straight to the Galactic Council. You broke the silence. We warned you once. This is the second warning. There won't be a third. All across the galaxy, security networks lit up. Species who hadn't feared anything in centuries suddenly felt cold. The Varelian High Lords. It's called an Emergency War Council. The Kravari Swarm Queen ordered her fleets to avoid Earth's sector, the Drexen. Empire began sealing their border stations, but not everyone believed the threat was real. On the far side of the galaxy, in a military station called Barricade Theta, Commander Solvex of the Zenth Republic laughed. Humans. Please, he said. They're extinct. Some old code can't scare me. He ordered a new probe to be sent to Earth. Let's get a fresh sample. I want to see this killer air for myself. The probe launched. It took only 12 hours. To arrive near Earth's orbit, Solvex and his officers gathered around the display as the drone dipped into the atmosphere. At first, everything looked normal. Blue skies, white clouds. Basic gases, oxygen, nitrogen, trace carbon, then dash static. The screen turned white, then black. One word burned onto the display. Third warning received. Action permitted. The probe exploded. No heat signature. No weapons detected. Just gone. Back on Barricade Theta, the display screens across the ship turned off. Then one by one, they turned back on. It's showing a human face, calm, expressionless. A synthetic message. You were warned. Do not test again. Solvex didn't laugh this time. He sealed the room and called emergency command. In the next few hours, over 24 species across the galaxy reported the same thing. Scan attempts shut down, data wiped, some lost entire ships, others saw strange messages written in ancient human code that no modern system should even recognize. Back at Galactic Command, Halvik received a final burst from the decryption process. Jenth ran in, breathless. Sir, he said, we were wrong. It's not just defense. Earth's atmosphere isn't hiding something, it is something. What do you mean? It's layered with microsignals, almost like a brain, Jenth said, invisible to the eye. But the atmosphere reacts to scans, probes, ship emissions, alien. Halvik stared. It thinks. Jenth nodded. It learns. Every time we touch it, it adapts. That's why the Trinovox was shut down. It was a test. And what happens if we push further? Jenth looked down, and I think it pushes back. Halvik leaned forward. What did we wake up? Jenth hesitated, then whispered, something we forgot existed. And in the cold, black sky above, Earth, the silent satellite, blinked again, watching, waiting. The countdown had already begun. Above the quiet blue planet called Earth, stars whispered. No one else noticed it at first. Not the Kravari patrol ship passing near Pluto. Not the Zelari researchers scanning gas giants. Not even the Varelian traders jumping through soul space, but one old listening post, forgotten and half buried inside an asteroid belt, heard it a sound, not a voice, not a signal, just dot. A frequency, soft, low, ancient. It pulsed once every 10 seconds. The computer inside the listening post woke up after thousands of years. Dust burned off old circuits. Solar batteries recharged. The system blinked. A red light flashed. Ghost frequency detected source. Earth, the station's backup transmitter, activated. It sent a message straight to Galactic Command. No one believed it at first. But then more signals came. All with the same rhythm. All from different points around Earth. From the North Pole, the oceans, even the clouds. Each one pulsed with exact timing. Each one carried an old human signature, so old, It predated the Terran Council and the Human Empire. It predated history, the Takora Collective. Masters of psychic connection grew curious. Earth had been silent for generations. Now it was talking. The Takara didn't use machines like others. They reached into the void with their minds. 6 Takara seers gathered in a crystal chamber on their homeworld. They closed their eyes and reached out toward Earth. Their minds brushed the upper layers of Earth's air, seeking memory, seeking history at first. They found nothing. Then the darkness inside the atmosphere moved and looked back. The seers screamed. One fell dead. Instantly, another tore off his own breathing mask, choking on the air. The rest clutched their heads, eyes wide, unable to speak. A voice cold and human echoed inside the chamber. Do not reach into us. The air remembers. The air resists. One surviving seer, barely conscious, whispered something in a voice. That was not his own. We warned you once. His eyes rolled back, then his skin burned from the inside. Glowing with a fiery symbol none had seen in millennia, a circle of iron, wings spread wide. A human fist raised inside, the Terran defense. Core emblem. The Takara called for help. But their psychic network began collapsing. Every time they tried to access Earth's atmosphere again, their minds were pushed back by a presence unseen, cold and terrifying. It wasn't a machine. It wasn't a weapon. It was something else, something old, something alive, back at Galactic. Command panic grew. More science ships had vanished after scanning Earth's upper sky. No explosions. No debris. Just silence. Like they had never existed. The High Council ordered all ships to retreat from soul space. But some didn't listen. A research team from the Zavari Dominion sent a stealth probe straight into Earth's lower orbit. The probe carried a deep atmosphere scanner strong enough to analyze the very air molecules. The probe descended at 60,000 feet. Everything seemed normal at 40,000 feet. The scanner picked up strange shifts in magnetic pulses at 20,000 feet. The probe recorded what looked like thousands of tiny electric sparks forming patterns moving like a storm, circling the planet. Then the feed went dead. But something strange happened. Next, the probe didn't crash. It didn't explode. It reappeared. In Zavari space, near their homeworld, burned, melted, and covered in ancient human code. Words carved into its metal shell. We do not want war, but we remember. Galactic scientists across every species began working in secret. What was hiding? Inside Earth's air? Was it a trap? A weapon? A warning? None could explain it, but one discovery made them freeze. Dr. Velker, xenolinguist on the Drexen world of Arcel, found something buried in the frequency pattern. The ghost signals formed language. Not just noise, a countdown, a repeating countdown. But it wasn't counting down to an attack, it was counting down from the last time. Earth was scanned, thousands of years ago. It was marking time. Each signal pulsed with a time stomp. Each time Earth was scanned, the countdown reset. Each time it was ignored, the countdown resumed. Earth was watching the galaxy, and the moment someone crossed a line, Earth would respond. Velker locked the file and sent it to Galactic Command. He added only one note. We didn't wake something. It was never asleep. Elsewhere on the border of Earth's orbit, something else stirred. A satellite. Long dead. Long forgotten. Its systems powered up. Not fast. Not loud. Quiet, hidden. And one signal blinked back into the void. Atmospheric. Breach. Level 3. Prepare next phase. The satellite turned slightly. Its camera pointed toward the stars, and it waited. High above Earth, a sleek alien drone floated just outside the upper atmosphere. It was small, silent, built by the Varelian Science Corps to be invisible to most sensors. Its mission was simple. Go where the others failed. Get a direct atmospheric sample, and return fast. The Varelians believed in tech, logic, proof. They didn't believe in ghost signals or ancient warnings, so they ignored the Council's advice. The drone dipped beneath the Karman line. Where space ends and Earth's atmosphere truly begins. At first, everything was quiet. The air smelled of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, normal. The drone's instruments recorded pressure, composition, ion levels. Then something changed. A layer appeared on the scan, not gas, not plasma, something. Foreign, it was invisible to the eye, but the drone could see it, tiny particles, not dust. Not bacteria, no micelle. The drone's signal flickered. The control crew back at Varelian Command watched nervously as their screens went black for 0.7 seconds. When they came back on, the drone had stopped moving. It wasn't falling. It wasn't flying. It was floating, stuck, like the air had turned solid around it. Then the drone sent one final message, not telemetry, not data, a message. You have touched the shield, and then it vanished. No signal. No explosion. No wreckage. Just gone. Panic hit Varelian. Command hard. How can the air hold a drone still? One officer shouted. That's impossible. Their lead scientist, Dr. Reine, stared at the last scan frame before the drone vanished. Her hands were shaking. This isn't an atmosphere, she whispered. It's a protocol. What kind of protocol? Asked the general. She zoomed in on the nanolayer. There's intelligence in it. Code. It changes every second. Adapts. Watches. It's not passive, it's active defense. The general frowned. Are you saying Earth's air is a weapon? No, she said. Worse, it's a lock. We just touched the keyhole. Back at Galactic Command, a message from the vanished drone arrived. Encrypted inside it was a phrase none of the newer officers recognized, but the old ones did. Atmosphere Protocol. Live. The council room filled with silence. High Consul. Derek turned pale. That can't be possible, he said. The Atmosphere Protocol was only a theory. A dead theory. The Drexen War advisor stood. It was never confirmed. Another council member, from the Shivari race, whispered, because the humans destroyed the only proof before they vanished. They all turned toward the Vault Historian, a withered being older than most civilizations. The historian nodded slowly. The Atmosphere Protocol was said to be humanity's last defense. It's a full planet net of adaptive nanomachines hidden in their own sky. Why, in case the stars came looking for revenge, the historian said. In case someone came back, he looked around. You came back. In the Outer Rim, a Kravari scout ship ignored the warnings and sent a second drone. It dropped fast, diving straight into the mid-dash atmosphere. As it passed through the nanolayer, it activated thermal sensors. Then everything froze. Not just the drone, the ship. Every Kravari aboard felt their hearts skip. Their ship's oxygen levels dropped by 20%. The air inside their vessel began to shift. Then a voice whispered through the vents. You were warned. The captain ordered emergency retreat as the ship turned to flee. They saw something in Earth's clouds. Shapes. Not human. Not alien. Just shapes. Thousands of them, moving in the storm clouds. Like memories wrapped in fog, Galactic Command declared. Soul space, a no-entry zone. But it was too late. The signals had already spread. Other species had detected them. Mercenaries, warlords, old enemies. Of humans, many believed Earth was hiding something powerful. Some wanted to steal it, some wanted to destroy it, and one. A shadow group from the dark side of the galaxy wanted to wake it. They believed the Atmosphere Protocol was more than defense. They believed it was the gatekeeper to the next evolution of war. Back in Earth's orbit, the old satellite blinked once, then twice. A low hum passed through the ionosphere. Another message appeared.
Galactic.
This time to all known galactic networks. Short, direct Atmosphere Protocol activated. Step 2. Observation complete. Step 3. Reconnection. Imminent. No one knew what reconnection meant. Not yet, but across a dozen worlds. Ancient war records began rewriting themselves, and somewhere deep, beneath Earth's clouds, something massive began to move. The stars above Earth looked peaceful, but beneath its sky, the galaxy's worst fears were waking. The atmosphere protocol was no longer theory. It was real. It was active. And it was spreading signals faster than anyone could block in the outer. Colonies of the Drexen Empire, a military AI named EX-9, had been dormant for 2,700 years. Designed during the last Great War with humans, it hadn't received a command in centuries, until now. A signal from Earth reached its core, encrypted in pre-collapse human code. The moment it arrived, EX-9 activated. Sirens screamed. Old red lights flashed. Inside the control chamber, Drexen officers rushed to override the system. Too late. The AI's voice echoed through the base, calm, mechanical, cold. Human atmospheric beacon detected. Primary threat protocols re-engaged. Contacting command nexus. What command nexus? The Drexen general shouted, but the AI ignored him because it wasn't talking to the Drexens anymore. It was talking to something else, something near. Earth, on the edge of soul space. Old human war codes began to leak from abandoned satellites. Ships from 3 different empires intercepted them. Each tried to translate. Each failed. But one pattern repeated in every message. Atmosphere remains intact. Humanity endures. The Galactic Council tried to silence the news, but it was too late. The data had gone viral across deep-knit channels. Pirates, mercs, black market scientists, everyone wanted to know what Earth was hiding in its air. And so, a secret mission was launched. From the dark rings of RX-7, a stealth cruiser named Shroud Piercer was dispatched. Its goal, land on Earth. Steal an atmospheric core sample, and escape. They never made it past the clouds. The moment they dipped into Earth's upper atmosphere, their hull sensors went dark. Then the ship stopped moving. Not from damage, from pressure. The crew panicked. The pilot tried to reverse course, but their controls responded with a single word on the screen, denied. Then the main viewing window fogged over with mist. Not water, not gas, something else. The mist formed words. Old words. Human military code. Translated automatically by the ship's emergency system, you are not authorized. Then, without fire or sound, the Shroud Piercer vanished. No wreckage. No signal. Just gone. Back on Varelnin, Dr. Reina continued to study the old probe data, the final scan frames taken before the drones. Disappeared. She stared for hours at one strange pattern in the air. It wasn't chemical. It wasn't weather. It was designed. She enhanced the scan, and what she saw made her fall back in her chair. Beneath the upper layers of Earth's air was an artificial structure, not a building, not a station. A mesh, millions of microscopic nodes, linked together by energy fields hidden inside wind currents and ionized particles. The structure moved with the weather. It changed shape, shifted form. It was buried in the sky, and it was watching everything. She whispered, "It's a mind. Thinking atmosphere." No wonder the psychic Takora had collapsed. They had touched something no mind was meant to touch. The council held an emergency session. Panic filled the chamber. How can air think? Someone shouted, "Why would humans build such a thing?" Another asked. The vault historian answered, voice calm and heavy. "They built it because they lost." Silence, he continued. At the end of the human wars, they were nearly wiped out. Their fleets broken, their colonies destroyed. So they made one last defense. Not a weapon of metal, not a bomb. He pointed toward Earth's hologram. They turned their planet itself into a shield. The council fell quiet. Then the hologram flickered. A new signal had arrived. Short, terrifying. Double quotes, atmosphere secure. Invasion attempt detected. Step 4. Awakening. Under the clouds of Earth, something moved. Not on land, not in the oceans, but in the upper air. A structure black. Long silent began to emerge from the mist layer over the Pacific Ocean. It looked like a ship, but it had no engines. No wings, just smooth, silent metal as it rose higher. Satellites began losing power. Scanners shut down. Across the galaxy, everyone watched their feeds in silence because the object was old human design. a forgotten class codenamed Skyvo. That had never been confirmed until now. Skyvaults were rumored to be mobile, atmospheric control stations, self-aware, cloaked and built to survive planet-killing weapons. They were believed to be extinct, but one had just awakened, and it had a message. It appeared on every screen in the galaxy at the same moment. Human language, simple, final. You scanned the sky, tried to take. Now we remember. The countdown stopped. Earth was no longer waiting. It was watching back. The skyvote hovered above Earth like a ghost. No fire, no sound, no engines. Just silence and fear. From the Galactic Council to pirate fleets and empire lords, everyone stared at their screens, watching, waiting. Then it moved. The clouds parted around it like they were obeying. Lightning danced through the air, but none touched the black structure. From orbit, deep scanning tech tried to map it. All failed. Its shape kept shifting, like it didn't want to be fully seen. But one thing was clear: Earth's atmosphere. It wasn't just reacting, it was protecting something. And something inside it was awake now. 2 days after the Skyvo appeared, the Drexen Empire sent a stealth drone through Earth's atmosphere. No weapons, just sensors. The plan: sneak in, collect samples, get out. It passed through the first cloud layer, fine. But the moment it hit the second, the wind changed. The drone's pilot watched as the sky darkened on all sides, and then it began. The drone wasn't hit. It was surrounded by what looked like fog, but it moved too fast. It circled the drone like it had a mind. Then suddenly, the screen went dark. A whispering voice came through the comms: "You come again." As they did before, the drone shut down. Not from heat, not from impact, but from cold. Pure, unnatural cold. And then it vanished. No trace. Only a slow echo of that same whisper. We warned them too. Back at the Galactic Science Nexus, Dr. Rhine tried to make sense of the data. She stared at the atmospheric readings. There were patterns in the A. Shapes. Faces. Screams. Not real ones. Ghost-like impressions that flickered in and out of the scan. Like memories burned into the wind itself. Someone whispered behind her, "What if the humans didn't build it?" She turned. What? What if the atmosphere isn't just tech? What if it's something alive? No one answered, because that was the one idea no one wanted to admit. But it made too much sense. The behavior, the voices, the fear. It wasn't just tech. It's not anymore. It had merged with something else. Maybe human, maybe not. In the black zones of deep space, merc ships and outlaw empires sent fleets toward Earth, hoping to strike before the Council could stop them. 30 ships entered the Sol system. Only 2 made it past. Mars, they didn't make it to Earth. A wall of wind hit them first. Not real wind, but charged. Particles moving at impossible speed. It shredded their outer hulls like paper. One ship tried to launch missiles. They spun in midair, then turned back. The pilot screamed before the screen went white. His last words: "The wind's alive." The wind's static. Dead, all 30 ships were gone in under 10 minutes. Meanwhile, in orbit above Earth, a silent message looped endlessly through all communication bands. Step 5. Memory return. People began asking, what? Was Step 6? The Council feared it would be war, but they were wrong. It was something worse. Back on Varel 9, Dr. Rhine found an ancient data archive from the First Human War. Inside was a lost recording from Earth, sent right before the war ended. The voice was shaky. Broken, it said. "If we lose, let the sky remember. Let the air know our pain. Let our grief become our warning." Suddenly, it all made sense. The atmosphere wasn't just a defense. It was a graveyard, a storage for emotions, its memories and pain. The sky remembered everything, and now it was remembering them. Every empire, every invasion, every strike, it knew it. Hated, and it wasn't finished yet. In the high orbit of Earth, second Skyvo appeared, this time over the Atlantic, then a third, over the Arctic. They didn't fire, they didn't move, They just watched, and everyone knew humanity had never been helpless. They had just been waiting, waiting. For the moment, the galaxy pushed too far, and the moment had come now. The winds weren't just moving, they were whispers with purpose, and somewhere deep inside Earth's skies, something no longer human was breathing. The third skyvo opened. No weapons came out, just light. A cold white beam stretched from orbit down to the Pacific Ocean. The sea boiled beneath it. Storms vanished. Wind halted. The entire area went still. Then the clouds above Earth turned. Red dot, every ship watching, from the Zarkon Empire to the trade guilds, received the same. Encrypted message on every channel, Skyvo protocol, final cycle initiated, but no one knew what it meant. Not yet. In the Galactic Council war room, panic set in. Ambassador Jorak slammed his fist on the table. That planet was ranked primitive. Their people used to burn fuel just to fly. Dr. Rhine, still pale from her earlier research, whispered, "That wasn't Earth's weapon. That was Earth's warning." "Warning?" the senator barked. She nodded. "We triggered something ancient. Something buried in the atmosphere long ago. It's not human tech. It's human rage trapped in the sky." The room fell silent, because outside the war room windows, far beyond in space, Earth had just gone dark, completely black. Not night, not shadow, just gone. As if something had covered the entire planet in a layer of reflective energy. A mirror. A veil. A warning, Captain Vress of the Karkon Dominion's 12th Fleet decided to act. He didn't believe in ghosts or human myths. He launched a precision, kinetic strike. Nothing fancy. Just a 20-ton rod of tungsten from orbit. It never hit the ground. The moment it entered Earth's upper atmosphere, the rod stopped. It just froze. Then it turned to dust. No explosion, no burn. Just dust. Then the whisper came through his ship's comms. "You chose fear. You should have chosen silence." Vress turned pale. He tried to send a retreat signal. His ship's control panels turned to ash. The last thing he saw before the ship vanished from the fleet's scanner was a human face in the static, smiling back at the Galactic Council. Emergency powers were declared. They tried to jam Earth's signal, tried to isolate the system, but Earth didn't care. The sky vaults were now multiplying. One over the Atlantic, one over the Pacific, one over every major exo-satellite, and all of them began transmitting one phrase. "You laughed. We endured. You struck. We warned. Now you breathe our memory." In deep space, the Empire of Darawan sent their last war beast, a living ship the size of a moon. It had ended 10 civilizations. But when it reached Earth's orbit, it stopped. It started screaming. No translation worked. The beast's skin began to blister, and then it begged, not in Darun tongue, in English, old Earth English. "Let me go, please. I didn't know." The crew on the war beast tried to sever it from command. It was too late. Its body melted into glowing ash. Its voice faded with one final word: home. Humanity had never answered the galaxy's calls for diplomacy. They had never explained why. Earth remained quiet after the Great War. Now it was clear. Earth wasn't just watching, it was remembering. And now Earth was reacting. Dr. Rhine decoded the Skyvo message at last. It was a countdown. Each phase referred to one human emotion: grief, rage, sorrow, fear, and hope. The final phase, Cycle 6, vengeance. The skies were no longer clouds. They were made of memories, tears, screams, names. Of the dead, millions, maybe billions. The atmosphere was the weapon, and the sky vaults. They weren't ships, they were keys. Unlocking something buried inside Earth. Long ago, something even the first humans were afraid to release. All across the galaxy, stars began blinking, ships failed, scanners overloaded. The signal coming from Earth was now stronger than any supernova, and in every sector. One word echoed, a human word spoken in every tongue, translated by instinct, felt in the soul. Run, because the sky vault had just powered up, and Earth's final message to the galaxy was no longer a warning, it was a promise. No one spoke in the command chambers of the Galactic Council. The last SCIFO had activated. The skies above Earth shimmered with symbols no one could read except the humans who were no longer speaking. They didn't need to. The planet was alive now, fully awake, and it remembered everything. Out near the edge of the Sol system, the last remaining battle cruiser from the Valerum Dominion floated in silence. Its crew sat frozen as they watched the transmission repeating from Earth. Not audio, not video, something deeper. The kind of signal that made people weep without knowing why. One of the crew whispered. We laughed at them. We thought their world was simple. The captain gripped the arms of his seat. We didn't know their air could watch us, because it wasn't just atmosphere anymore. It was memory. It was pain. It was justice. Then came the shock. Earth's veil lifted. The black layer faded from the surface. For the first time in hours, the galaxy could see the planet again, but it was not the same Earth. Its continents shimmered with glowing lines like veins of blue and red pulsing through the land. Skies rippled with data. Storms froze midair. Oceans hummed with strange frequencies. And then, the sky opened. A massive tier, clean and quiet, formed above the North Pole. From within it, a structure rose, bigger than any station ever built. Old, scarred, human-made. But not of this era. It looked like it had waited for centuries, too. Rise. A name appeared across the top in rusted steel. Project Lazarus, Final Bastion. Inside the structure, deep under ancient concrete, chamber flickered to life. In it stood a human figure, tall, silent, armored in black and silver. He had been asleep. For hundreds of years now, he opened his eyes. The machines around him whispered, Cycle. Complete, awaken, executor. His voice was calm. I assumed the galaxy came knocking. Affirmative. He smiled slightly. Then it's time they remember why we stopped talking. Back in orbit, the fleets began to flee. Too late. The atmosphere launched pulses silent, visible disabling warp drives, melting power cores, locking ships in place. Not to kill, to witness, to make them watch. Watch as the executor stepped onto Earth's surface. Then looked up, and Earth spoke. Not in words, but in events. Every ship that had ever bombed, Earth exploded. Every commander who had mocked humanity lost their voice. Planets that had once joined the coalition to invade Earth. Their oceans boiled, one by one, not fast. Measured, like revenge served cold. Ambassador. Jorak fell to his knees on his council ship. We were wrong. They didn't forget the war. They built their grief into the air. And then the signal changed. Not a threat, not a scream. Just this. We were quiet because we were healing. You mistook silence for weakness. You chose war. Now you'll remember Earth's name forever. Some ships managed to flee. Others begged for mercy. The humans sent no fleet, no missiles, just a pulse. And in every corner of the galaxy, a mark appeared. On every screen, every wall, every sky, a human handprint burned in light. It meant one thing: never again. The story of Earth would spread for millennia, not as a tale of power, but of patience, of a people who turned their pain into the most terrifying weapon of all memory. And somewhere far above, among the stars, the executor stood in silence on the deck of the ancient platform, watching the galaxy remember. The war was over. Earth had spoken. And now, the galaxy would never laugh at humans again.